we are now having rumors that the main character protagonist Yasuke wasn't originally Yasuke. It was actually a Japanese male that was from the islands. And now this is all coming out. In fact, that the character was changed or race swapped, if you think of it, to Yasuke because of the BLM riots that took place a couple years ago because of George Floyd's death. So essentially, Yasuke is a placeholder for George Floyd in hopes that Ubisoft could profit off of that entire group of people and make even more money during that time. And it makes it even more crazy to me that they pushed it back, the release date of this game, to February 2025 during Black History Month. It just starts to add up more and more as you go on. And it's crazy that they're trying to profit off a group that you already have the creators of that movement already profiting off of any supporters with them buying their $1 million mansions and their fast and fancy cars. But before we get into this article, please don't forget to subscribe, like or dislike. It doesn't matter. It helps with engagement, and I much appreciate it. So the rumor of Assassin's Creed Shadows originally featured male Japanese main character and game could be delayed even further. A new rumor for Assassin's Creed Shadows claims that the game originally featured a male Japanese main character and that the game could be delayed even further after the game's developer Ubisoft recently delayed it to February of 2025. And this is all because of the company not believing that if they were to release this game this year at the end of the quarter, that they would probably lose money when it comes to their fiscal year, and that would not look good on their shareholders, taking their stock down even further and potentially being able to delist this company off of the stock exchange. Ubisoft delayed the game to February of 2025 at the same time it announced it might barely break even during its current financial year. In a press release, the company stated the company now expects net bookings of around 1.95 billion and around break-even non-IFRS operating income and free cash flow. And we're going to skip past that part and we're just going to go straight into the rumor section. Now, a new rumor from YouTuber Endymion, who alleges to have spoken with a number of individuals at Ubisoft and who have worked with the company in the past, claim that the game could be delayed even further and that the game originally featured a male Japanese protagonist instead of Yasuke. And I don't think, even if you were to delay this game further and there's a hope or potential in the change of the character of Yasuke to a less controversial figure, a character that's made up entirety, because in Assassin's Creed genre, every character you play as has been made up. You're playing in these historical settings. Yes, that is correct. And perhaps there's historical figures placed here and there with missions and stuff. But you're playing as a non-historical made up character. But if they were to already change the character of Yasuke again, I think that would bring a whole nother dilemma of backlash when it comes from these journos or these people that are wanting to play as Yasuke now because of the controversy that a lot of people dislike that Ubisoft decided to go with this choice instead of just having a representative of the Japanese islands. It continues on. Endymion shared, my source told me, however, that they have heard in February of 2025 is simply a placeholder release date as of now. Apparently, this is because Ubisoft is scrambling and they need certain key talent in order to assist on a Q2 game release, which, if you don't know what that means, there's 4 quarters to a calendar year. So Q2 means Ubisoft has something that they think will hit that is coming out later in the year that they need help on. So because talent at the studio is working to make that future release come out more smoothly, Shadows is not being given the extra hands it kind of needs right now. So like I said, your release date may actually be pushed back even further, he reiterated. It keeps going on. Endymion then revealed his source told him the game originally featured a Japanese male protagonist. I was also told when they originally saw the game, there was indeed a male Japanese protagonist with their own finalized art and even animations. Now, if you're someone from Japan who was born and raised there or potentially moved to a different country, I'm kind of wondering how would you feel right now that this company had a representative character of your home country and decide to just change it up completely. I think they would be in an uproar even further than what they've already been at it when it comes to the character of Yasuke, with people saying that he's not a samurai or there's not enough historical record for Yasuke to be concluded as being a samurai that has aided the shogunate. He continues on. They don't know if this character will be reintroduced to replace Yasuke, but they are skeptical that Ubisoft will actually remove Yasuke altogether due to the whole political, backlash they'll get from journalists and so on. He added. And I'm not going to read all of this, but essentially talks about how the game plays when it comes to the story being heavily driven in the first act and then the second act being open world. And there's even small rumors that Sweet Baby Inc. has been involved with Assassin's Creed Shadows. If that's the case, then we understand why every game that has substantial amount of controversies, there's always something back in it, and it's always more than likely some sort of terrible consultancy company that is able to convince the developing company to do as they say. And it's crazy to me if this is true that Sweet Baby Inc. is involved, but again, they can't confirm that 100% yet. And this is where we start getting into what inspired Ubisoft to change the male Japanese character to Yasuke. As for when this Japanese male protagonist was sidelined, Endymion revealed that the game did first include a male Japanese main character, but they were swapped sometime during 2020 according to my source for Yasuke instead. When asked why Ubisoft chose Yasuke over this male Japanese character, Endymion revealed they said that Ubisoft was heavily influenced by the socio-political events of the time with stuff like, and I'm not kidding, George Floyd dying, the riots, and the BLM exploding in support. He added Ubisoft may have opted to include Yasuke in order to pander to identity politics because of Black Lives Matter. If this is true, this has to be a new low when it comes to these records being set. You're trying to profit off of a death of somebody because of a lot of supporters voicing their opinions on why that person died in the first place when he shouldn't have. It is absolutely insane to me, and it seems to ring even more true because if you go back on Twitter, back in May of 2024, so this was months and months back, you had people even giving this idea of George Floyd just replacing Yasuke, and here he is. But that is not all, as someone had the bright idea of face swapping Yasuke for George Floyd, and it's very uncanny besides the nose, because if you actually take Yasuke's image right here, let me just minimize this, and compare it to George Floyd's face, you can see the resemblance when it comes to the lips, the beard style, and the mustache style, and even kind of the eyebrows, but George Floyd has had more thinner eyebrows. But it's absolutely insane to me that that is how far we have come as a society when it comes to these developing teams trying to pander to groups in order to profit off of them rather than just creating a game that is not based on controversy but is based on a good foundation that has good gameplay, has a good story, and has good characters with, again, little to no controversy. And with all that in mind, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, or dislike, and share. And I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.